Hello and welcome, as this is the completion of day number 12, month number 7, 2018. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. And red down moves occurring. Bitcoin price down to the low 6,100 area. Everything else down 4 or 5%. And then as we go to the less market cap size, market share, some higher numbers. Icon down 11%. Everything collectively going lower. And this, I feel, is the easy, predictable situation that if Bitcoin has significant moves lower, that not only will the altcoins have moves lower as well, but probably at larger percentile moves. And so the case goes on moves to the upside that altcoins will probably move up with Bitcoin as well, with higher percentile gains along the way. As we take a look at the Bitcoin price on the Bitstamp one, 61.17 is the current price. And as I mentioned this morning, what occurred was the session on 2 days ago had a move bring us to the 18 average of lows, following that up with a sideways pause day. Thus, it happened after it's like the digestion of the move, and okay, no sudden buying coming in, and again a decent size red candle down, making the statement, leaving the 18 average. When we look at this on a shorter term time frame, say the single hour chart, this event occurred around 2 o'clock in the morning. So it happened at the start of the session. And when I say 2 a.m., that is Eastern New York City time. And within such, it just started going sideways. And now I can see that the second previous period had a move where price action dipped below it. Price action came back to the 18 lows. And this one leaving it through. So it seems as if it's made, well, definitely has made the statement that this is looking to break this sideways range to the downside. Looking at the last two periods, we can see that this selling came in here, brought it back, and now, of course, it's just making its move to the downside. We can see here this selling occurred, and it's not a big candle, but short term. 61.42 down to 61.10. You're losing 0.5%. But again, the statement is being made that we're leaving such. We're probably going to have a weak chance of a weak, as in not the opposite of strong, chance of having support at this level. And to throw topics off, we live in a world where we have so many words that are unused, and we have so many words in which mean totally different things, like the word weak. Anyway, back to the chart action. When I look at this, I've been mentioning this over and over and over again. Hit number one had huge movement to come, in which it came down from, basically around 17,000 down to 6,000 in a matter of about 10 periods, 12 periods, a little over a month. They make this high. This time, it spends a few days within that area before rallying lower high. And now, after finding support there, I'm seeing this level mainly as an area of resistance. And leaving such an event, support, lift off. Support, you stay there for a bit, lift off, you don't get as good of a boost. Here, you're really holding on by a thread as I look at it. And thus, the support test, my target is another better word for it, of 3,000, will seem more probable to exist. Taking a look at some other coins now. Ethereum in the same sort of situation as against its dollar. It's at 420 now. After having this sideways down day, or yesterday, after having a pause-ish sort of day, not really, but sort of, leaving the 18 average is the whole point of the situation. And within such differently here, this was the first support test for Bitcoin, which obviously meant that this selling got more deep along the way in here. And it had a much better April Fool's rally after a more severe sell-off. Will there be a little bit of support there? Maybe. As it's been in a situation already where when I look at point low to point high, it's already told me that this rally's already failed. And thus I'd expect to move at least to this previous low as it goes on. But breaking down below this little area in here, I mean, you could be looking towards this previous congestion area next, I would think. Dash is also in the same situation as it's been leaving its 18 average, making many lower highs, lower lows, so I'm expecting this to make a decent leg lower as well. And when I say decent, I really mean like a standard size move. Litecoin had its correctionary move, and it's just consolidating, hanging in there amongst the late June support levels. Therefore, amongst this case, it matched support this time in here, but obviously after falling from this point, it's had a significant leg already. So further leg lower. Next up, you're looking at about the could be maybe low 50s to about 50 if we're going to have another leg lower on LTC. NEO showing similar patterns. They're all working together in the same sort of fashion basically. BNB, Binance coin, falling from its 18 is already broken down below this $13 low. Now it's below 12, so it's entering this previous level of support. Breaking down below here, we're looking at some previous support. Well, would 10 be a common psychological number? Maybe, but obviously a significant leg lower here. I would expect at least a move to about 10. When I talk about that, I talk about the three bears comparison, where something's got to be perfect, not too small, not too high kind of deal, just right. So what I'm looking for, a significant leg lower. I don't want it too small, like 11, 10. That's just too small. Somewhere around 10, 9 and change would be fine. But then when you start to go down and talk about a leg lower towards 7.5 and 6, although it could very easily do it, that's just a major capitulation style move that would be too much. But generally speaking, more times than not, you would expect like just a decent eyesight move, and thus the $10 level is the psychological number. Well, it happens to be the psychological number, so I would be thinking somewhere around there would be an interesting spot if it finds support there. And we're going to finish this off just by talking about one not so random altcoin against Bitcoin, which is that of Power Ledger. Interesting situation on a technical analysis level, as after the move in here, which had this huge rally, ultimately fail in the 18, we've seen from the failure that it had to sell off to previous support, made a move to the 18, back to that previous area, corrected again within such, but then when it fell here, it had a significant leg lower to this point. There's your big rally, and after this all ended. So now the statement in reverting the trend. Was this too high of a rally? Well, maybe, but regardless of the fact, it did come back to this band. And then we've seen how on yesterday's session it left it, making a lower high. And now this thing has succeeded to fall back from 5,320 to 42. It's still in the correctionary phase. But when I talk about like the failed move, fast moves, if a rally of this sort ends up failing and you see weakness amongst the 18, then that is a pretty weak, or that's a pretty strong setup for a weak move to the down, or move to be bearish. That of a large downside move, if such is the case. What I look for in a move like this, originally it had its move higher, so this was the key area I needed to see it stay and hold above, which it did. So now if it's going to work in here, I still need to see it hold, but I'd be more comfortable now to see it hold and stay above this level of resistance. And it's already pierced a little bit below it within today's action, and You can see just in here that this little move, how it's been resisting the 18, definitely the weak, scary side. And if I even look at it further, just amongst this time frame as it is, this is a spot where it's been firmly over the many hours been supporting just roughly around here within the 18. Now it's leaving it right within this current period, 40 minutes into the hour or 18 minutes left. So within such, it is as well making that statement, okay, we're ready for another leg lower significantly from this point. Where would the likely possibilities be? And you'd have to think somewhere within this range, which would still be enough to hold amongst this 18, but it's definitely a scary situation for where this could end up going if it goes down. With that being said, I mean, you have the moves. It would show more strength coming in here. And there's a lot of reason where people could intensify selling just because they bought on this breakout here, thinking that, okay, this is that correctionary move, and then it ends up failing. That sometimes when you look at the original selling that happens in this area, some of it are these people coming in or selling with a loss at this point. And one thing to understand or try to figure out is who are the ones selling and buying. And a lot of times I'll just leave that with a question mark when it comes down to it. But for what it's worth, only price that pays. Markets are going to have wild up and down moves. And you can always expect that the moves higher to be quicker than the coins that may have descending moves, at least against the Bitcoin base market. That would be the case. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye. And by the way, everything you do, I didn't say this at the start, everything you do investing wise is your own risk, own reward. Yes, I'm saying that all these markets are heading lower. I'm not selling everything and just playing everything I can to be aggressively short. Rather, I've already hedged what I plan to do so when I seen this bear market or potential move to 3,000, what seems on an eons ago. So I've already played for such a case. So as it comes down to it, when I was seeing these markets heading lower, just even around here from like June 22nd, up around from end of May, into this point in here, as it was showing the weakness, I was like, maybe I should hedge better or hedge more against it. And I haven't. I'm just going to keep waiting. If it goes down lower to 3,000, I got a plan to turn it back into Bitcoin, thus turning it into altcoins, thus buying those coins, looking to sell for gains like I normally would. And if it doesn't, then the markets will go higher. I have altcoins, I have Bitcoin, and I have all the such that I'll keep on playing a bull market as it comes through. And the only reason why I can support a possibility for a big move as I withstand this rally, but helping towards such, is the fact that what I have figured out in technical analysis from the early points, which cost me via my fiat currency or trades, is when tremendous setups don't appear and don't play out. Well, that works in the failed move, fast move type of system big time. And we have a very, very strong setup. Because as I stated in the setup here, very quick move here, spending a bit of time here, lower high, resisting this area now, starting to leave that resistance area phase. That's a very strong setup on the downside. And if you're waiting for a big setup, this is why I'd be like, okay, time to sell Bitcoin, do all this stuff, let's short, let's do it. I've already done that, so that's why I'm not doing it. But if the system doesn't play out, then it wouldn't surprise me if you get those, oh my goodness, heart-wrenching sick moments for the shorts. And of course, those who are long is like relief moments of, oh my goodness, type of movements that can occur, because I've seen it over and over and over again. What I'll be looking for first on any type of retracements lower, well below the previous low in here, is how the area of around 5,000 is going to act next. A little above, a little below, or right on that number. In that area, 46, 47, up to 51, 52-ish or so. Because I've talked about the possibility of the failed breakdown fast move lower. And quite frankly, if you use the three little bears analogy, that would just be too low if it's only around 5,000. When you look at this on a long-term time frame, if I'm able to draw a rectangular box like this, it would be too little. So if I see something like this, you see it go to 5,000-ish area, give or take a few hundred, and then it rallies back up quickly and holds into the low to mid 6,000s. Definitely into like close to the high 6,000s even. Then that would be telling me that, oh boy, we're looking for that failed breakdown fast move rally higher. So I've got only a small amount of hedge cover positions for around 5,000 for that very reason, and everything else in at 3, which means that's where, if you're looking at places where I'm doing trades like Binance and all the other sites, somewhere like maybe 3,005, somewhere around there, maybe 15 cents, that's where I'm going to buy. And then on the TUSD, 33,333, I think is the 3,000 number. Yep, 33,333 would be the area on the TUSD. And it's right now in at 16,382. So that'd be basically double. If Bitcoin loses half, that works out. And when you look at markets like this, the importance of sell orders and buy orders, here, you get a free trade. I'm not going to say you didn't deserve. One you shouldn't have gotten, but when you did get, it only price pays if you had your sell orders here, because anything you sell in here could have been bought back right in here, which is the amazing part about having your orders, letting them come through, because sometimes, well, shit like that's going to come down. And speaking of such, I also want to talk about, well, that of shit coins, and one of the strategies that I've been thinking about, because even though cryptos may do well, there's a lot of coins that are just going to fall down the wayside, whether that's going to be happening now, decent amount of time, or a long time from now, I don't know. So to understand that risk when you're playing any of these lower ranked coins, and I'm not saying TUSD is, but I mean, there's just a whole bunch of them. Like, is digital note gonna really survive? I mean, ETC, I only hear good things about long term. That's the whole point. Do you want to play more of the safer coins, like the Litecoins and the ETCs? Maybe you do research and you find out, hey, maybe Theta's actually the real deal. And then you're like, okay, then we got some coins like OK Cash. It's been around for quite some time, but is it a legitimate coin? I say that with a question mark, because the ones that aren't are just going to go down. You're going to get delistings and all those kinds of things. So strategies might be, if you're holding them, obviously what the easiest one is always selling them, maybe putting them into something else, because if you think of it, okay, maybe I want to avoid the volatility in something like OK Cash. I'll sell it, put it into some other secure type of coin. This way, if it has decent runs higher or the market space goes up, you're in a market that's also should share gains. Another way of doing it is, if say there's coins that you don't like that you're holding, and like all of them, they're down so much, you realize, okay, I'm just going to wait for the next time for it to go. And obviously it's going to have some sort of decent rally. They always do, at least until their last one. The situation here, you have like 1,400 going up to like 24, so that's almost double. Here you go from 26 up to 56.